Hey guys, my name is Carter Friend, and today I'm going to be doing my first top 5 video. Now, as all of you know, one vital part of making a great comic book movie is having a great comic book villain, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is no stranger to great comic book villains. So today I have decided to count down from number 5 to number 1 my top 5 favorite villains in the MCU. So without further ado, let's get right to it with my number 5. Now, my number 5 is more of an honorable mention, actually, than anything else. I hesitated to put this character on the list, despite my love for him, because regular viewers of this channel will have come to know my friend Percy by now. Say hello, Percy. I wouldn't say he can be characterized purely as a villain in the same way that the other people on this list can be, and that character is General Ross. Now, the reason I include him on this list is because of the fact that he can't be seen as a black and white villain. It is a gray area with him because he is a soldier. I mean, he is doing what a lot of people, if this were actually happening in the real world, would consider the right thing to do. He's chasing down a threat to the country in the form of the Hulk. Just because we happen to see that Bruce Banner is a troubled soul and that the Hulk just wants to be left alone does not mean that a general would be able to act like that. I mean, he is doing his job. And I just think that his emotional ties with Bruce, and obviously Betty being his daughter, makes him a very interesting character and creates a very interesting dynamic there. I thought William Hurt did a great job of bringing that character to life, and so while he's not necessarily a villain in the true sense of the word, I think that he's a great foil to the Incredible Hulk and one that I hope to see in future MCU movies. Now, my number 4 is Obadiah Stane, also known as Ironmonger. Jeff Bridges had the opportunity to play the very first villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Iron Man, and I thought that he did a fantastic job. The chemistry between Jeff Bridges and Robert Downey Jr. is just wonderful, and I think it's some of the best between a hero and a villain in the MCU, and we don't even know he's a villain until about a little bit over halfway through the movie, so to be able to see that relationship kind of go through those changes between him and Tony is really fascinating, and he was the first villain before they exhausted having Tony fight other people in suits, and so it was still exciting at that time. I thought that he was a really good character. Admittedly not the best final fight scene between the two, but still a very strong character, and more than anything, just a great actor. Jeff Bridges really made that role, and he was the best part of it by far. Numero Trace is another villain from The Incredible Hulk, the only other villain. I bet you can guess who it is at this point. Betty Ross. No, Emil Blonsky, the Abomination. He is a very, very interesting character in the sense that he is probably the strongest of all the MCU villains, physically speaking. He delivered one of the best climaxes of any of the MCU movies. That one-on-one fight between Hulk and Abomination, I still think is the best one-on-one action sequence in all of the MCU, and the fight at Culver University was also fantastic, and that was just Tim Roth at that point. So both Emil Blonsky and the Abomination are very strong villains, I feel like, and again, I hope to see them in future movies, but who knows what's going to happen at this point with all the recasting nonsense that goes on. Numero dos, Red Skull. I freaking love the Red Skull, and here's why. Red Skull is just classic, textbook, purely evil comic book villain. There is no sympathy towards him. He has no personal ties to the hero. He doesn't have some tragic backstory that makes us feel for him and can somehow explain his behavior. He is bent on world domination, he is crazy, and he is an awesome freaking villain. There really are very few villains who are just downright evil, and sometimes that's just the best motivation. Sometimes those are the strongest villains. The ones who are just completely out of their mind and power hungry. And more than any other hero and villain relationship within the MCU, Red Skull and Captain America are just the most polar opposite. I mean, every single thing about these people is different from the other one. You know, it's just a shame that Hugo Weaving has gone on record saying that he does not wish to reprise the role as Red Skull, because I thought that he did an amazing job and that he's a villain that I definitely would have loved to see more of. Who knows if we will with a different actor one day, but I really, really love that character in the MCU. And number 1, if you have not figured it out by yet, the Mandarin. Gotcha. My number 1 choice is the evil, the mischievous brother of Thor, the wielder of the glow stick of destiny himself, Loki. And how could it not be, really? I mean, I know a lot of people tend to get upset about the amount of attention Loki gets, and they're a little bit annoyed by the giant fan base that has been built around him, but to me, it's all warranted. He is clearly, by far, the best villain in the MCU, and that is because Tom Hiddleston brought that character to life. He made him his own, he made us care about him, he has by far the most interesting motivation and background of any of the MCU villains. He's completely sympathetic, he's desperate, he's sad, he's intelligent, he's an awesome, awesome character, and also, as I've mentioned, a lot of these villains happen to have ties with the character, the heroes in some way or another, but none more so than Loki. His brother is Thor. His brother is an Avenger. I think that Marvel will have to really work hard to be able to try to find another villain who can rival Loki in that sense. And, you know, I think that he really is up there with Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man as being one of the stars of the MCU. I cannot wait to see what they do with him in Thor: The Dark World. I am not tired of the character at all, and I cannot wait to see more of him. I also wouldn't mind seeing a round 2 between him and Hulk. It wasn't exactly a fair fight. So those are my choices for the top 5 villains in the MCU, and you know what I'm going to ask you next? What are yours? Please let me know your favorite MCU villains in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Let me know. I want to hear your picks. And while you're down there, I'm going to put all sorts of little links down there in the description box, so you can follow me on Twitter, you can like the Marvel Cinematic Universe page on Facebook, and you can follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Twitter, because all of those are just swell things to do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, like it, share it with your friends, do all those good things, and I hope to do more top 5s in the future. Maybe top 5 villains that I want to see in the MCU who have not appeared yet. Top 5 heroes, top 5 whatever. You can also tell me that in the comments below. What kind of videos do you want to see in the future, and I will do my best to please you. And with that, I will take my leave. Goodbye, my friends. I will see you soon.